Okay, this is kind of a follow-up to yesterday when I showed you guys the face-to-face projects we've done, the sessions we've done. We've done 12 of them. So I have a little PowerPoint just how you guys can get to it. I don't have music for these slides, but I can provide it if you want. Makes it a little more dynamic. Yeah. This is also, as Dean said, this is also at Porter's News U. When you go in there, you can just do a search for face-to-face. I think it's also on their homepage. And then this is the front page you'd get. Then after that, you would see a list. I know it's hard to read, but I'll just kind of summarize it for you. You'll see a list of all the people we had talked to in the past 2 years and who they are. And what they've done. If you look through that, and I have some contact information at the end, if you look through these and you decide you want more or you want to know kind of how the session went before you get in there, please email me or Lynn, my colleague, will be happy to tell you all that stuff. So yeah, any questions or concerns you have about it before you go into the site, please just let us know, and we'll do whatever we can to help. So there is like a brief summary of who they are and what they did and some of their work on that page. Then if you choose one, I just picked Larry Price, as I said yesterday, he's the most recent one. You'll get more of a rundown about him and what he's done. There's what you'll learn under who should take the course. We talk about the benefit to college students, journalists, non-journalists, and high school kids especially. We're trying to do more high school outreach. They're all about an hour. When you enroll, that's when you'll pay the $9.95 per session. And I should point out that's $9.95, not $995. Someone asked me that, so I want to make sure nobody thinks that. Once you enroll, it's yours for good. As far as I know, I've tested it. You can use it more than once. And that's helpful because we have some resources here that you might want to look through and then decide how best to structure the lesson plans. I've used it in various, everybody would use it in a different way, I guess. One of the people we interviewed was a former student of ours. His name's Alex Pena. He's in Sudan. And I also I teach audio-video journalism, and he uses this very similar gear to what I purchased through grant money for my kids in the AVJ class. So I show that one with him because they can see that it's the same gear that they use, that the stuff we're having them use to do their news packages is real similar to stuff that the professionals use, the multimedia journalists and the audio-video journalists in the field. So you'll get that, you'll enroll there. Then you just click there to watch the replay. This is all the stuff we put on there. My esteemed colleague Dr. Kenny wrote a lot of this stuff. And so when you get in, you can click on anything on the left there. This is the actual session. You can see here I stopped it on this screenshot about 14 minutes in. This was a minute 15. You can go back and forward to stop. The thing I liked about the replays that we couldn't do when it was live is you can go back and reiterate. And this is just me because I think I talk too much. Like he would say something and I'd want to kind of relate it a little bit more to my students, but I didn't want to interrupt him, and you don't. I don't want to say, "Hey Larry," or tweet him, "Hey Larry, stop talking. I want to say something." The nice thing about the I should say, please stop talking. The nice thing about the rewind is you can pause it and you can say, hey, this, talk about the ethics of the picture if you want, or talk about the conditions, or reinforce something you've taught in a previous class or anything like that. So I like that replay feature. You do lose the live spontaneity of it, but you are able to manipulate it a bit more. And then you can see over here is the chat that was in progress. And you see Plattsburgh had a question, South Kent had a question. You can see all the questions pop up in real time. Well, in real time that it occurred when we did this session. And you can see who was available and all that kind of stuff. This is the resources that you can download, which I had done when I ran the session in my classes. Don't worry about what it says. You'll see it when you get there. It's backgrounders basically on the correspondence, 2 types of lessons plans, and teacher guides. I have better shots of those here. This is classroom discussion questions. We have micro issues, mid-level issues, macro issues, if you want to get into all that stuff about what the correspondent's doing. We try and link up as much as we can to their actual work so you can take a look at that. And we have different assessments available with that as well. This is suggested activities and background for high school and college students of journalism. So there's a big list of those, and you know what you can do. You can number the activities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can spread those out. I found that they generally take a class, depending on how long your classes are, but you know there's a procedure to follow. We have links to the Pulitzer Center where we got some of our reporters to volunteer for this. And here is a quick guide. This is for teachers with time for one lesson before the face-to-face conversation. This was my case in April when I forgot that I was doing it. And so it was real helpful because I was reminded in enough time. I went through this and was able to like put the class together. And so, the thing I liked about this specifically was it was one class plus the session itself. So I was able to like kind of like reschedule the rest of my coursework so we still finished on time. I built in a little buffer for stuff like this. And again, we provide links to all the relevant stuff. Then there's the backgrounder on Larry, for instance. It talks about him, has all the links of stuff he's done. It talks about things he's done, and you could extrapolate out any of the stuff you'd like out of here. Like he did mining in the Philippines, where they had a lot of kids working. So it kind of led into a class discussion about child labor laws and, you know, what is the government's response, what's the societal response to kids, you know, in these mines when they're younger. I had one student who said, that little boy in that picture is my brother's age, you know, my little brother's age. And so, you know, it hit home, and you can kind of focus on whatever you see fit to do with that. There was also a quiz. I think this one was 10 questions. The answers are provided. Please make sure you underline them. I was like, oh, I better underline these. They're going to know what all the answers are. But it does. They'll all get A's. But we go through that, and it's stuff based on the readings and the actual session itself. What I thought was interesting is I'm so geared toward, because I taught high school, as I said yesterday, I'm so geared toward my kids being on their devices and doing stuff that I don't think is appropriate, that I try to build in stuff as much as I can into the classrooms where they can use their devices for good instead of evil, and then it just like makes me less stressed out. And so you can, you know, they tweeted during this. So Larry's talking, and I'm thinking like, are they engaged? And I got up and, you know, I saw a couple of them doing this, and I'm like, oh, they're like, what are you doing tonight? Are you going out to the bar? So I went around and looked, but they were tweeting questions to him. So it was real nice, and those questions pop up too. I'll show you here in a second. They're on Storify, but those got saved. So you can see who asked what and when. And Larry answers, you know, we got more questions than he could possibly answer, but he answered as many as he possibly could. And then Lynn Milner, my colleague, she kind of guided the whole session and kind of like moderated it. So I just, and you know, the thing is with the tweeting of this is it was nice because that's how they want to ask questions. You know, there was you could talk to Larry directly. You could type in at the Adobe Connect site in the classroom and ask a question that way, but a lot of students preferred to tweet the questions. This is our contact information. So if you got, and I know I gave some of you my business cards, if you have any questions, please call us. We really like to, you know, see people use this. So, and you know, we enjoy doing it, and you know, as I said, you know, it's not going to be live, but the playback does have benefits. You can divide it up. If you're running late, you stop it. You can start it up at another time. So, any questions? Like, if you want to do this before you know, shell out the dough, if you want to make sure that it's the right person for you, please call us. We'll give you as much information as we can.
The $9.95, you get a password to go into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a password just for you, not like a class password?
As far as I know, it's just for the user. Yeah, but then once you're in, you're in. But I'll check. I'll double check and make sure that's. See, because I facilitated some of these, I just go straight in. But as far as I know, yeah, you enroll, you put in your, you get a password for it, you go in, and then that's your site to use. But what I would do is just you know, call the website up in class, and then put it on the projector in class, and we watch it that way from the podium in the classroom. And that's it. You know, I know I didn't take up my whole length of time, but I just wanted to show you guys all this. If you have any questions or concerns about it, as I said, please contact me or Lynn. We'll be happy to talk to you. And it's been great being here. Thank you all so much for all the information I've received from you all. It's really been a pleasure. So thank you very much.